All of us are born with emotions, but no instructions on how to use them. And although people would think that knowing how to use your emotions would come naturally, it doesn't. You actually have to be taught. All of us have to be taught how to properly use our emotions, and that is Islam. Emotional control is Islam because God demands that from us. God demands that we temper our fears, our desires, our greed, our lusts, everything. When we learn how to use emotions properly, we walk a higher path. But until we do, we're not much different than animals, probably even worse given our ability to reason and plan. Human beings can be the greatest predator, the most vicious of animals because of the gifts that God gave us. And they become this unless they have accurate programming, accurate guidance on how to use their emotions. This is easy to demonstrate, which I will do here right now. Consider several emotions. Let's start with anger. Anger is neither good or bad. Anger is just a tool. So when somebody makes you mad because you deem them to be beneath you, and they dare to talk to you in a way that you don't approve of, and that angers you, and you lash out in that anger, then you're not using that emotion properly. Also, when you are looking at injustices and suffering of innocent human beings, like for example what's happening in Gaza now, and you are not moved to anger, or your anger doesn't move you, then you are not using anger appropriately. Anger is a tool that is supposed to help us overcome our fears in a time of great injustice and overwhelming odds, to where you're just like, I don't care, I'm angry, this makes me angry. And if the death of innocent children doesn't make you angry enough, or make me angry enough to move and do something about it, as much as we can, as much as is in our ability, then we're not using anger correctly. So anger is neither good nor bad. How about love? Love is not universally good as people will lead you to believe. It's not. What is love for drugs? It's called addiction. You can love drugs, and that is addiction. You can love this dunya, which will just fade away and die, and you will know that you are going to lose it. Or you can love justice. You can love God. So whether you love the right thing or love the wrong thing simply depends on your training and understanding what you should love. How about greed? Used properly, this desire for self can help you store food for the winter, can help you prepare for your family. But used inappropriately or allowed to run, rampant, will just make you into an unjust, greedy person. How about fear? Lack of control of fear makes a person a coward. Too much control of fear makes you stupid and reckless. But when you control your fear appropriately, in the right circumstance, then that is called courage. This is Islam. This is what God teaches us. Every single emotion has positive and negative aspects, and that just simply depends on how we use them. So when God tells you, stay away from lusts, it is to protect you and to protect the people. When God tells you stay away from greed, it is to protect you and protect other people. When God tells you to defend the weak and control your fear, it is to protect you and protect other people. All of this is Islam. And the realization that this world is just a test, and that to God we belong, and to God we shall surely return, is the pinnacle of Islam, because that is what sets you free. Then you are no longer afraid of death. Then you are no longer afraid of any worldly failure. There was an American preacher who said, if I have nothing in this world, if I'm homeless in a homeless shelter, but I have Islam, I have everything. And if I have everything but no Islam, then I have nothing. Considering what I just told you Islam is, this shouldn't be too hard to understand. If you have Islam, if you have internalized that realization that to God we belong and to God we will surely return, if you have understood how to control your perception, if you have developed patience, if you have developed all of these characteristics that God demands that you develop and teaches you how to develop them in the Quran, then it doesn't matter what happens to you. Any kind of tragedy will be met with emotional control, which we call patience. Patience is simply the ability to look at disaster and not react to it with depression and devastation. Simply emotional control. Same thing with good things. If good things happen to you, you're going to have emotional control and you're not going to abuse whatever was given to you by God. So if you have Islam, if you have that emotional control, even if you have that perception of the world internalized, doesn't matter what you are given and what is taken away from you. If you have Islam, you have everything, because happiness comes from the inside. Perception of well-being comes from the inside. It doesn't matter what kind of a circumstance you may find yourself in. If you have that, you have everything. Conversely, if you have no Islam and you have everything, nothing will make you happy, because ultimately you have to lose your health. You have to lose your wealth. You have to get old and shrivel up and weak and die, and that will produce significant depression. That's why people go through these midlife crises and all these kinds of crises. That's why entertainers who are rich and famous kill themselves. Why? They have everything, but they have no Islam. They have no emotional control and no realization of to God we belong, and to God we will surely return. Their lives are empty. So Islam is everything, and Islam is emotional control and control over our perception, which in fact is reality. What we perceive of the world is reality to us. So when God teaches you to control your emotions and to perceive the world correctly, it is for your own benefit. You can take it or leave it. But if you take it, then you will have everything. And if you leave it, nothing you can gain in this world will help you. Peace be with you.